everyone, welcome back to Tier 2 Talk. Josh, it's fucking like every day now I see you, man. It's way too much. How's it going, everyone? Welcome back, of course. Today we're joined by the alternate attacks boys, FreeZe and Hyped. How are you both doing?
Good, how about you?
I'm good, I'm good.
Oh.
Nice. Josh, another week. It feels like, as I said, like we're getting these episodes out left, right, and centre, but so much to talk about, right? This has become quite a common occurrence now that we'll talk about, the team that these guests are on, and obviously today we're talking about alternate attacks through this year.
Yeah, I mean, just to start things off, I think it'll be nice for a lot of people at home to get like a rough idea of the German scene, because I think from an outsider's perspective, you look a few years ago, you had like the Penta, the Killerfishers, your Sprouts in there. It's like now you got Big, you got alternate attacks. Is that it? Is there any more up and coming even players, or is it legitimately just you guys and that's it?
Yeah, it's kind of rough at the moment, I'd say. There are a lot of German teams actually who are competing in the German league in the DACH CS Masters. But if it comes to like the international scene, it's most likely just Big and us. Like there's a team called Arrow. They're playing ECA Advance, and like they're like the third team I'd say in Germany at the moment. But yeah, I think it's kind of hard to break through at the moment when you're located in Germany.
So what do you think that's down to then? Like we were kind of talking about it earlier with the whole Meisterschaft and how many more opportunities and prize pool. But is it just that? Do you think that is led to? I mean, I look at just even like your squad and even Big squad, and I say a lot of the veteran guys in the last few years have just gone, like they've just disappeared, like they've retired, they haven't gone on to create new projects. What do you think it's come down to for just not having the competitive teams anymore?
I think it's just like a lack of not talent, but like you don't have that many good players, I would say. Like they're not like a lot of people coming after, even after us. But like a few like AJ for example, it's like 15, I think, 15, 14. He can be really good in the future for sure, but I feel like that's really it, to be honest. And most of the German teams competing like in the WCS, they're more like, okay, let's break maybe 2 or 3 times in a week, and then just play the WCS and then just chill a bit from there. Maybe we play LAN at the end of the season. Maybe just go out at 4th or 5th, and then that's it for us. So I think it's just a bit comes down to the like drive for the game. Maybe just a bit not the passion, but I think not many people feel like they could do it, and then they don't even try. I think that's like the most important thing.
Yeah.
I also feel like there was some lack of infrastructure, and they're trying to build like a foundation at the moment. They got like esports player foundation in Germany. They're doing a lot for younger players to like get them stuff, get them PCs or whatever, like help them with a bunch of coaches to get better. And I think that was something that's lacking before. So it was hard for players to develop. And also like esports in Germany is not as big as in other countries. So it's hard to grow the fan base or the viewers, and it's hard to get sponsors for the orgs and stuff, so they can't really pay players full time even if they would like to, so like all those things combined are like make it hard for people to like get into tier 1 or tier 2. So yeah.
Seems like a lot of similarities to the UK scene, Ryan, with the events and the teams.
Yeah, because obviously we were talking a little bit off stream about like obviously you guys get the ESL Meisterschaft, which is the play-ins to like one S tier event, and you get another one, which is another S tier event, and that was the kind of the same for us, Josh, right? We had two spots at conference for Pro League, right?
Yep.
In ESL Prem, which is the UK ESL regional event, and since that's gone, like I think a lot of the smaller regional scenes have taken like a big hit in terms of the amount of teams that we're seeing compete now, right? Because as you guys say, you've probably got like what 2 notable teams now in an international environment, and I think what for us, Josh, is like 1 maybe.
In terms of Verdun and Endpoint, and that's it, really, like on the international scale.
Yeah, I was gonna say in terms of orgs, there's only like 3 that we have as well, right? Which is obviously ITB added to that list.
Yeah.
But that's it. So yeah, it's a shame.
Yeah. I want to ask then, FreeZe, if we're going down this conversation of it not having a huge amount of talent pool, I suppose that makes roster changes really difficult. And earlier on in the year, we saw that you benched Perks and Panics and brought in Sky and Hyped. You came over from Big Academy. What kind of led to that? Because I would say, and me and Ryan, we spoke about it on plenty of shows, I thought your last year was insanely successful. Like when Slacks and Spiddy were in the team, it looked like the team was doing it in like really, really well and really pushing the boundaries for the top end of tier 2. And then it kind of felt like when Slacks went to M80 and Spiddy retired, that it was like a rebuilding phase and you had to start from the ground up again.
Yeah, well, it took us the entire last year to get to a point where we were pretty satisfied with both Lex and Speedy. They were both not doing as good as they would have liked to when they joined. So we kind of had to build up the confidence together. And yeah, we did pretty good the last year and had pretty high expectations for this year. Even though we lost two very important players, we felt like we still had what it takes to like compete at that level. Maybe we're gonna drop a couple of places, but like we ended up doing very bad. So yeah, that kind of led to the changes we made, and we felt like we need to change something ASAP because we weren't making any progress. Like the roles were kind of off. Like there was no like real chemistry in the team. So yeah, the decision got made that we needed some changes, and yeah, as we already discussed, there are not that many German players, and like Hyped and Sky were the ones who kind of stood out of the people who like were we were able to afford or like to get. So yeah, that's and also like if the challenger slot came with them for the season, so was kind of a no-brainer to pick those guys up because we played them so many times and we knew their potential. So yeah, that was like on paper the best thing for us to do.
Okay. The only thing then is 2 months later, another change happens. Perks is brought back. Now, I know, Ryan, in our scene, we get a little bit of recycling right at times where you have an old player, he goes away, then he comes back again. What was that down to, FreeZe? Why bring back an old player? I mean, I'll say that Perks has been farming recently. I remember watching a few of their games in the CCT tournament you run. And for an anchor player, I mean, his raw level of impact is just insane. So what happened with him going and then coming back?
Well, we kind of like we didn't really improve our team with those two changes, and the chemistry still felt off, and we also got into some role problems because we originally planned to switch some people's roles and they weren't too happy with it suddenly, and then like it didn't work out, and you can just feel that there's something off, you know. And since Perks was still on the bench, we just were thinking about trying it with him and see if it's better and how it like how the vibe is and how the chemistry and like all the in-game stuff feels, and it immediately felt better. So we ended up doing the decision to bring back Perks in, and as you said, it already paid off. He's doing really, really good. I felt like it kind of motivated him a bit being on the bench because I know he didn't enjoy that for sure. So yeah, he's doing really, really good. I'm really happy with how he's doing and how we're doing in general.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, the only thing that I was thinking about, Ryan, was I was casting a lot of your matches probably in like the June period, and I just remember like how much red there was, like so many losses. But I think at one point I like brought it up on a broadcast. It was like 8 best of 3s, 1 out of nearly 40. Hyped. What's that like as an AWPer, right? Like when you grind in the officials and you can't seem to break it. Like obviously recently you've been able to kind of get out of that slump, but when you're there, I mean, it must just feel like the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, sure, but also in the end of the day, you get accepted. You know, like it's you put in the work, and if it then doesn't click, it doesn't click. You can't force it. So you kind of have to take it easy on you. But still, of course, I mean, you still like question everything you do, like as a team, as a person. And yeah, I mean, it's not a good feeling, but yeah, as I said, you just have to accept it for the in the time and then try to move on. Basically, yeah.
Yeah, Ryan, you got anything else to add? I mean, I suppose we've had like quite a few teams on the show recently that have had long-standing cores and like long-standing players. I know FreeZe, you've been like an alternate aTTaX for what feels like forever now.
Yeah, it's almost 3 years. But, like it's gonna be 3 years at the end of the year. So yeah, it's been quite some time, and there have always been some rough periods. So yeah, it's never nice. It's never a good feeling, and yeah, it also takes a hit on your confidence. But as soon as we got it like back and we improved, like it immediately paid off that we kept on working hard on those things. And I feel like there were a lot of games that we could or should have won, even though we ended up losing them, but it was like always in overtime or 13-11, 13-10. It was not like we were
Yeah.
getting smashed. It always like the smaller things. And yeah, now we're not like doing those mistakes, and suddenly we are winning. So yeah, feels good at the moment.
Yeah, fair enough. I don't have anything to add, Josh.
Yeah.
Easy.
Easy.
Next thing we wanted to talk about, right, is some ongoing and finished events. I think, you know, I said it in the last episode, Josh, and I was thinking about it yesterday actually, and how insane the calendar is, and obviously for you guys, as we've talked about, like the amount of officials that you guys play, and it feels like in tier 2 that there's just a shit ton of events and shit tons of BO3s, and then like next year, right, when like all of these big TOs come in and start playing events, it feels like, you know, you're gonna have to be basically like tied down to the mouse and keyboard indefinitely. I think a bigger event that we wanted to touch upon first, right, is Cologne. Obviously, we were talking about and how you guys in your region get to have the chance at Cologne and whatnot, right? This one's a fun one, Josh, because I will say probably a very interesting bracket. I will say, I guess a bit of a plug to a friend is Jay, Eternal Jay, released a video on Soar's run recently, which was pretty banging. But I think that's one of many stories that we can have a little chat about, right? I know we're going to be a little more focused on the playing stage and whatnot, but I think the run that some of these teams have been on is a testament, right, to a lot of people, and maybe you guys agree on how close tier 1 is to tier 2 in terms of like the potential and the talent.
No.
Where do you even start here? I mean, for Soar to make the playoffs and beat FaZe, like that,
Yeah,
I don't think anyone could even
it's
consider
crazy.
that to be a likelihood. Like, I think for a very long time, people in tier 2 have respected Soar as playing good CS, but to actually fucking do it, like, on stage for the first time, like, that actually is mental. And that will go down in massive history books for, like, Roman and Muteris that have been grinding for such a long time. And I don't know, FreeZe, can you, like, resemble that at all? Like, for those two guys to have been playing for such a long time and really haven't achieved much, and then instantly they get to a Cologne stage and they beat a team like FaZe, like, does that remind you a little bit of, a few more months and, like, I'm here for 3 years on alternate aTTaX?
Well, yeah, as I said, they're around for ages, and like I kind of feel the same, that I've been around for quite some time, and yeah, still I'm planning on keep playing, but yeah, we'll see. Maybe someday we'll end up doing runs like so, who knows? But yeah, they improved a lot. We played them a lot last year, actually. We played them in Pro League Conference and in a bunch of CCT playoffs, and you can always feel that it's kind of tough to play against them. They're always really, really good prepared, and I think the biggest thing that helped them to improve that much is actually Barry, because he used to coach Sprout, and we played them a bunch of times, and I know from Speedy and Slacks that he's like pretty good when it comes to coaching and doing like preparing and improving the team. So I think he helped them a lot. And they're also like, if you watch their demos, for example, against FaZe or G2, they're so well prepared. You can see their game plan, and they have some really good anti-strats ready. So yeah, it's really deserved that they got that far, actually.
Well, to actually touch on your performances, Ryan, I want to go back a step and actually look at how aTTaX got here. I know you've loved the whole like bullshit brackets, like group stages, everything. The fact that this is an open qualifier to IEM Cologne, and it is a single elim bracket of what, best of ones the whole way until right at the tail end. How is this even a thing? Like,
Yeah.
all it takes is some cheaters in like the round of 32, the round of 6. And mate, you're just done for. Like, I don't know how this is a thing.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
fucking crazy to me. Like, could you imagine, like, the RMRs didn't exist for a major, right? Like, it is on par with how prestigious this event is, and you were just like,
100%.
do you know what? Fuck it. Like, we're gonna put up regional qualifiers for every single team, and whoever wins makes the major, right? That's it. That's exactly what we're doing. No RMRs, no Swiss systems, none of that bullshit. It's just single elim like it is in the open quals, and if you do well, you're gonna play on a stage. Like, what the fuck, man? Like, that's insane. I mean, obviously for you guys, you close out, 2-0 in the grand final. At least the actual qualification games of BO3, Josh. It's not.
Yeah,
not,
true.
You know, let's give it one positive. But yeah, I don't know.
Because do you know what I'm even thinking about it, right?
yeah.
Like as a whole is we'll talk about it a little bit later on, but we've got like these German leagues that are already in place for like LAN finals. Why? I know that they don't have Meisterschaft under the banner anymore, but surely like if you win one of these Dutch Masters, it's like bang, you get into Cologne. Like there's some sort of pathway with having regional success. I mean, just to throw in an open qual for Cologne.
Yeah.
Mate, it seems, Matt. I'm pretty sure as well. I don't know if it was Rio, but it was one of the Brazilian events, either this year or last year, also had an open qualifier straight into the tournament. And I was just like, how? Like, I don't know. I don't know how this is a thing. So, yeah, at least you guys made it. But, yeah, this seems wild from a brackets and qualifier standpoint.
Crazy, yeah.
It was also kind of rough to play that, to be honest. So much pressure in those best of ones. Like, I'd say pressure-wise, the final was like the match with the least pressure and the easiest to play. Not because of the opponents, but just because you knew you had 1 or 2 maps more to play, if you end up losing one. So yeah, pretty stressful 2 days during those qualies.
Yeah, madness. Well, anyway, we can talk about the main event now. I would say from a competitive standpoint, you guys did pretty well. Like, you hung weight against some decent teams, but it probably does feel, I don't know, does it feel unsatisfying to not even at least take a map or potentially push it for a series win?
Yeah, for sure, yeah. I mean, against Complexity on Inferno, we lost the 5v1.
Yeah.
Against Salzburg, yeah, I mean, it was like a full neck breaker. After that, I think we had to eco. And then even after that round, we still hadn't like fully recovered from that, like
Good.
mentally and eco-wise. So it was like, tough
Yeah.
game.
I was just gonna say, Hyped, if we run the clip, can you explain like step by step what at least the process was in this round? Because
Yeah, I can do it, yeah, sure.
This is mean, Josh.
Oh my
this is mean.
god, man. Oh my god.
yeah,
that too
it's a
many
bit
times.
nightmare. Yeah.
Nah, it's alright. You gotta. Easy rounds.
Ugh. Like, I don't know. What do you think, Hyped, about all
Yeah, I
these
don't know.
kills?
Like, okay. Like, the thing was, you don't see it there. Oh, no, actually, the first thing was, I said, okay, like, because the FreeZe said he's most likely on B side, he was close to B side. I said to the other guys, okay, let me just run up, I will hold the corner, and you guys can just, like, chill behind me, Like, if he's already on the right side, it doesn't matter. Then they will just trade him. But then, like, some guys, I think it was Perks or Arrow, I don't know. Like, the first kill, he, like, he overtook me. And then it was like, he was dead. Then the other guy wanted to refrag, like full shit. And I was also like a bit confused because I didn't know he was tagged and had low HP. So I jumped for info because I thought he's full HP. Then I was dead as well. And the other thing was, yeah, here now, the flash. Lucas said like, FreeZe said, I will flash for you, wait. Then Azik was like peeking because he thought, okay, he's 1 HP, I just kill him, fuck this shit. Yeah, then, yeah, it's a 1v1. And of course, FreeZe has to win this, so it's basically his bad, his fault, so yeah.
Yeah. It really reminds me of a similar round. I don't know if you remember it, Ryan, but it was like, I'm pretty sure it was IEM Sydney, and it was like Greyhound versus Cloud9 to make either the stage or the next best of 3, and it's literally 15-14, and they lose like a 4v1 like that to literally same position, almost the exact same round, and then it's just like game is actually done at the end of that round. Series is over. You've just been eliminated. So it does happen, but. I mean, how do you mentally reset going into Anubis after that?
I mean, honestly, it was quite alright because I mean, you still play Cologne as a like underdog. Of course, we were like tilted, I would say, everyone like a bit, but I mean, you have to reset. You sit in for like in Cologne. in the playing stage, so you kind of have to like force yourself to just say, okay, fuck it, let's continue playing. But yeah, of course, it was like after after the game, we like were back in the hotel, then it's like started to hit, and then we were like, bro, what the fuck, we just lost, man. And then yeah, in the game was quite alright because you just like had to force yourself to reset and get back into the game.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you have a second chance up against Falcons. What's that? The next day?
It
Yeah,
was
the next day. Yeah. The next day, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, I watched the Anubis map, and I felt at times on the city side, you guys were like a bit afraid of going for the retakes. Like there was a lot of saves in 3v3s, and in my mind, I was kind of like, I don't see this from aTTaX online than I am now. Do you think there was just a bit more pressure of that like risk versus reward of committing to rounds or opting for saves than maybe what it would be like in a fucking CCT or Alyssa event online?
Yeah, for sure. Like we weren't playing as aggressive as we do online. It was like we kind of talked about it beforehand because we feel like we often knew what they were going to do, but we kind of couldn't punish them for it. So it was like a bit of planned, and also but like when we started to lose the rounds and we saw that we couldn't like punish the things, even though we kind of knew what they were doing, like we still weren't ballsy enough to do some more aggressive things. So yeah, as I said, I think it kind of like came back at us at the end and lost us that game for sure because we gave them way too much space and yeah, kind of hard on Anubis if you let them do whatever they want to hold the sides. So yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess the next thing is that do you guys just go home straight away? Like, how does it work? Like, I know obviously you guys are all in Germany anyway, but do you wait around to watch the rest of the group stage games? FreeZe, I know that you were involved with the show match. Did you stay for the whole event?
No, we didn't. After the Falcons match, we still had like 2 days in Cologne, and we were free to leave if we wanted to, but like everything was paid for by ESL, so we still had our hotel rooms for 2 days and the break room as well. So we stayed there for one more day, I think, and then everybody decided to leave to get some rest. You know, like a couple of us were sick, and we were boot camping before for 10 days, and so yeah, we went home to get some rest and relax a bit, and yeah, and then we planned beforehand that we were going to watch the final because we got some tickets because we played the event. So we decided to take this off, and everyone was willing to go to Cologne, was there. Like we weren't there as like not everyone was there, but the majority of the team was there, and we were watching the final together for the weekend. That was kind of nice. Was actually my first CS event that I watched live. So, and it was Cologne, like the best thing ever. So yeah, it was kind of nice, and also like playing the show match in front of the German crowd was kind of nice because the arena was already kind of packed because everyone wanted to secure a good seat for the final, you know. So yeah, I think was a really nice moment, and the people also enjoyed that show match.
Do you know what's just like come to my mind as well, Ryan? It's like, let's say Cologne next year, obviously, we've got like the Valve ranking and inviting teams off of the back of that. If there's some sort of qualifier, surely it's going to be you and Big because, bro, there's no way Big are going to be invited off of ranking points. Like, with how their form is, I think they're not going to make it. So it actually could be that for the next few Colognes that you've actually got some competition between you and Big finally.
Yeah, I think we also talked about it. That like we kind of like with changes next year, we can kind of look around for some events because, or we assume like many one teams like will skip a few events because the schedule is like way too packed for them, and some of the teams like just don't need the points or just can like chill and want to take some days off. So I think there will be like a lot of like stuff going around with like whose team is playing, like how's all this like how things all work out, and who actually is on the event, who skips the event, and blah blah blah. So I think there will be like a lot of like new faces on on like big events. So excited.
Yeah, I think this looks pretty good for tier 2 in general, Ryan. If we keep
Yeah.
getting like these odd pop-up teams coming in.
I was going to say, I reckon by the end of this year as well, like a lot of tier 1 teams will try and go into like playoff stages, or maybe not all of them, but like some tier 1 teams that need the points, like your OGs, your bigs, things like that, will play tier 2 events because they want the points for when the world ranking updates, you know, at the end of this year, start of next, when the invites actually start making sense. I will say another thing as well, just to give everyone at home an example. On ReTr00 they brought out an update now. You can search for a team and you can see their Valve ranking, or I think it's just on their like ranking page, sort of here on the main page. You can actually see like everyone's global Valve ranking now. So that'll be the one that's probably paid attention more to now than ReTr's. It's super important that people are getting points this time around. One other thing, well, a few other things, I guess, maybe Josh, that we can talk about through play-ins, right? Maybe not so much European success. I think when you look at the bracket, I think for you guys actually, like I was having a look at this a few days ago, and there's probably a few teams here that you'd rather have played than Complexity and Falcons, right? But you know, not to shit on anyone else too much. 9Z making it through the upper bracket, right? Obviously you have the Saw guys that went on to do fantastic. Even I guess the Mongols, right, who still very much a tier 2 team, don't really get chances like this. The fact that they obviously qualify through
they're
the
looking good touch. Yeah, I think they're slowly becoming a tier 1 name. Like with how consistent they're becoming at tier 1 now, I think that they're starting to move into that conversation pretty quickly.
Yeah, those guys are insane. The shots that they are hitting in FPL, that's the only time I played them or with them. It's incredible. Like,
bro, it's so crazy to like watch them or watch the demos. Like so many times you don't understand how they win the round, and then you just like click on the POV and you just like one guy boom boom deagle double headshot. So yeah, I think it's like really hard opponent to play against.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, even we spoke about it, the Asia RMR like quals that fucking GR Gaming like upset aTTaX. Mate, aTTaX just like held weight against Vitality today. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, we're actually seeing these Asian. I think Pro League's really good for stuff like that. That we actually get these South American teams, these like Ocean, like even Rooster. I was quite impressed by, and they've lost bloody Nedic to talent. So we're actually seeing like these out of region teams get a good couple of best of threes, and it feels like that's now kind of the upset tournament is Pro League right now, just to be able to get wins against tier 1 teams.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, the Mongols, their opening game in the main stage as well was playing Spirit. And obviously the first map, you can see 16-13 went to OT. Fucking 13-4 on Anubis. Like, I don't know, man. I think it's definitely an eye-opener. As for the rest of this tournament, Josh, I mean, obviously we're more focused on tier 2 teams. We've already mentioned the Saw run. I don't think there's anyone else I want to bring up.
Not really. No.
Easy. Next event, I guess, for us to talk about, Josh. Oh, no, wrong button. More events for us to talk about. As I said, there's shit tons. We're talking about the Thunderpick World Championship 2024 European Series 2. If that isn't a piss take, I don't know what is. I guess the fucking 20th European CCT might take the cake. But I think we were talking about this a couple of episodes ago, Josh, and we were saying like how good the invites are in this event, and how savage the bracket is for one. I wasn't a big fan. I think I let that know very much known in the last episode. But some of the teams we've got here, actually, this must be quite an exciting invite for you guys, right? Because I think it's a good mixture between like very solidified tier 2 teams such as yourselves. There's like a little bit of tier 1 in there, or like at least, you know, upper end of tier 2, and you know, the lower end as well. We can have a quick look and see the run that you went on. I guess one thing that I hate is single elim brackets. I know we talked about it for Cologne play-ins, but you know, for events like this, do you guys wish that they were ran differently, where it's like more Swiss system or anything like that, or do you not care that it's single elim?
I mean, like double elimination is always nice. You just have like more chances to play. But it's I don't really think about it like when I play the tournament. So it's just like whatever to me. But yeah, of course, I mean, double elimination feels always like a little bit better. But in the end of the day, it's kind of, I think like to the players, it doesn't really matter because you can change it anyway. So yeah. But of course, I mean, I think if there would be like double elimination and we could have played another enemy after Cloud9, I think we actually like had a really good shot. Get like even further, to, at least to the semifinals. So yeah, of course, but yeah, as I said, you can't do anything about it.
Yeah, well, we spoke about it on the last show, Ryan. That I said I was casting the semi, so I casted your game versus Cloud9, and then the Bet Boom Gaming Gladiators. I will say that the Roy Nikodos edition finally is starting to look better. I think they're still quite rough, but looking like an upwards trajectory for a team that could do quite a bit towards the tail end of the year. Um, I'd say the game against Cloud9. I mean, but you could have won it in two. I think. Like I looked at Ancient with how you ended the first half, and I actually thought you were giving a fairly decent fight to Cloud9. But the problem that I had in this series, you can't fucking win a pistol round. Like I don't know what's going on, but it was like every single half, it was just a slow start from just the get go.
Yeah, indeed, that was a big problem in that series. Went 0-6 in pistols, and yeah, kind of got smashed in them. Yeah, it's rough, especially in MR12 if you don't win a single pistol. I think it like would have helped a lot, especially on Ancient, to win at least one. It was a close game even without the pistols, and we still managed to win Anubis. Made a huge comeback there, and yeah, on Dust we got smashed. Like I don't think the pistols would have changed much there, to be honest. But yeah, maybe you could have won it on Ancient already.
Yeah, I don't know. Like this Cloud9 team, I think in general, Ryan, like I said it at the start of the show because Jay was like trying to set me up for like points. I was like, yeah, Cloud9 are tier 2 right now. Like I don't look at Cloud9 as tier 1. They might have the players, but they don't have the tournaments. I mean, they've played like one LAN and that's it with this new 5, and their online results look shocking. Like they're really struggling. I know that it's like you're bringing Inters back, and you've got Heavy God and Icy, but I don't even know what the pedigree of this team is. Like this looks rough from Cloud9. I don't know.
Yeah, I think for me, I said last episode I was like a bit bamboozled on what I wanted to think about them, right? I was like, I don't really have an opinion. I was a big fan of the Heavy God and Icy pickup because I think in, you know, their old respective teams, like those two were, you know, fucking farming, especially in tier 2. To come into Cloud9, I completely agree with you. I can't call this team tier 1 right now. As you said, like there's no track record. The results aren't looking like, you know, a top-notch tier 1 team. I think it's a bit unfair to say they don't have the potential to go to tier 1 because as you said, they've got tier 1 players. They know what it's like. But, you know, I think for C9 overall in this tournament, like, you look at some of the results that they were having, like 2-0 over Insolo, like, no way it should be 13-7, 13-11 against Insolo. You know, against Gamer Legion, sure, like, you know, 13-11, they win a map, and then it's 13-7, 13-8. In my honest opinion, for Cloud9's name, they probably shouldn't be dropping, you know, maps like they have in this event in general, especially in this grand final against Zero Tenacity, you know, like with the... You know, no disrespect to Zero Tenacity, they're fucking grinders in tier 2, but look how close this BO3 is, and it's like, for a team and a name like Cloud9, no fucking way can you be, you know, nearly losing this series 2-0. And to be honest, you know, it could have been 3-0 Zero Tenacity with how close all 3 maps were, you know? But yeah, I don't know. I think time will tell with this team, because I think when you make changes as significant as this, where, you know, like Heavy God's brought in, you know, I think this is what his... he's only played in one European team in Endpoint, right? And then the time before that, he was just plucked out of thin air, like from FPLC or something. And then for Icy, I mean, sure, he's kind of at home in terms of, you know, his teammates being of, you know, CIS descent. But then, you know, this is like a complete step up for him. And to be fair, he's actually been putting in a big shift, you know, for this C9 side. But yeah, time will tell. It's one of those things that we kind of have to sit on and wait for.
Yeah, we'll just see. Again, like Cloud9 got invited to the main event last time. This time around, they actually had to go through the quals, so that just gives you a bit of an idea.
Yeah, I wanted to talk a little bit more about your sort of process as a whole, because again, I kind of feel like, you know, as I said about you guys in Cologne, there's probably some nicer games that you could have had, right? I feel like this is a story that will keep on going. Josh, we were complimenting Nemiga big time, right, and saying that this is like a very solid team, very, very good performance. And I mean, sure, scoreboard, you know, some in the red, some in the green, it looks quite close, but actually, like, map to map breakdown, obviously you lose Vertigo, you've beaten on Ancient, you map trade, and then you win on Dust 2. Like, how did you feel playing against Nemiga? Because it does look like, at least from the outside looking in, that this is like one of the better teams in tier 2 that we have right now.
I can't really remember like the game itself, but we also like watched the Amiga sometimes, and just like check the streams and stuff and like watch them play. And they're really good. Like all of them, like individual, all of them are really sharp. Like they're hitting the shots, they know all the nades, and they're like just like a good meta team. Like they understand like what's good at an exact moment, and that's like a bit how they play. And yeah, I think we kind of just we didn't really like anti at all in like tournaments. We just like we like look a bit for rotations and like tendencies they have that might have, and then try to like find a way for us like we can like uh find a counter. But really, we just like try to focus on ourselves, and I think that's what we also did there. And yeah, I mean, it was a close game. They also could have won it, to be honest. So it wasn't easy. So yeah, it's just like one of these games where you don't really know why you won. It's just like maybe a bit of the day-to-day performance. But yeah, it was a really close game, so it was exciting.
Well, you get OG in the next round, and Ryan, we spoke about them a little bit. I actually think that Krizen leaving Mouse NXT for this team is actually like a bit of a downgrade. Like, I actually think Mouse NXT have more potential. The problem there is if you just stay in-game leading an academy team, you don't know which players are going to get poached. That's the problem, right? You can't just stay and say, okay, I'm going to have PR and Sierra for the next better part of 2 years. It's just not going to happen. But I don't know, like, what do you think of OG? Because it's like a young team. Nexus is a decent entry. Krizen's kind of shown that he can in-game lead Mouse NXT to a good level. Moto, I think, is quite mid on the AWP, and then you've got Buzz and Fiki. Like, nothing is exciting on this team for me.
Yeah, not too.
You can say it. You talk.
Yeah. I don't really know. OG is kind of like a question mark for everyone, I think, because like if you like look at team, it's just like it looks a bit weird, to be honest. Like you have Moto, who I think can be good, or has like performance sometimes where he is good, but you don't really know. Then Fico, he's an OG like for ages now, and you also don't really know like how he is like or how viable he is tier 1. So it's also a question mark. Nexius is like like a decent anchor. And then with Buzz, I actually thought they did a good like move, because I think Buzz is like a really good player. He also like he was an Astralis, he's experienced not there, and I think he's just overall a great player. And with Kristen, yeah, Kristen is also like I feel like he's like a little bit like the Shui type of IGL. He's really young. He came from academy as well. So I think he can be really good, but just has to like make click, I guess. But yeah, from the outside, it's just a weird lineup, to be honest.
I
You
mean,
don't really know what to expect.
even thinking about it, right? Like the original lineup that came together with like the MBK, SR, like I think that team started to make changes towards the like middle part or early part of 2022. Since then, who have they signed that's actually scary? I would say Flames is one, Dexter is another, and Heavy God is maybe a third. Other than that, all of their signings like just aren't scary riflers that can really prove a lot. And I don't know. I feel like this team is just throwing money at it, and
Yeah.
it's just like overspending. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know what to think.
I was gonna say I'm a little more critical of this OG team, right? Because imagine the fucking pit of money that they are just fucking just chucking dollar bills into, right? Like this team isn't
Yeah.
gonna be cheap, first and foremost. Second off, you got to think, you know, some poor financial dude in OG is currently sitting with a burning hole in his pocket because they have that like partnership with Blast, right? And that probably cost him a pretty fucking penny to get a hold of and stay a part of for so long. And then, as you say, Josh, like I'm very much in the same position as you, where I believe like these individuals, as Hype said, are actually capable, right? Like as you said, everyone's got a background where they can be good. You know, like Modo has had moments of excellence. I think Fiku has been in OG for a while and he's proved that he can sort of clash in tier 2, and we've seen that even before OG with Fiku, right? And then obviously like Buzz as a signing, I completely agree with you, Hyped. I think Buzz is actually a very, very decent player, and I think a move to OG, a lot of people go, oh, you know, from Astralis to OG, that's just that you fucking suck, you know, like see you later kind of thing. But actually, I think this makes a lot of sense for him, you know, because you kind of want to stick around in a team that you know is going to get some invites for the rest of this year and whatnot. and when you're promised a rebuild and bringing up Christian from the obviously like academy leagues and has had a lot of success with a very unknown entity in Mouse and XT, like you've got potential here, but as you said, Josh, like for the amount of money they're chucking into this project, like the amount of good signings that they've made, right, is to me like next to nothing. I think when we look at a lot of teams in like tier 2 infrastructure, and you know, I don't think anyone will take offense calling OG tier 2 at this point, but you know, you have a look at some of the signings that tier 2 teams have made, and I mean, you guys are a perfect example where you try pieces and then it works out, and you've got individuals that are starting to shine brightly in the server. And you know, I think Endpoint's a good example as well, where they keep nurturing, bringing up, moving on talent, and you know, Mouse and XTs of the world and whatnot. Like, there's hundreds of names I feel like you can list, Josh, in history. And it's like, OG, how many times have you seen like, oh, OG make a roster move and you scroll to the bottom, this roster is now, oh, okay, well, it's just, you know, fucking no, there's no big improvement, you know, there's no like big signing or like promising individual. It just feels like OG as an organization are very content with staying where they are when there's proof that they can actually go to tier 1. Like, I remember, as you were saying, Josh, in this first OG team, right, I think in the first Blast event they actually made the stage or something like this, right? Like they ran deep in one of the early Blast events, and since then it's like, as you say, like, look at the amount of changes that have been made, by the way, since
it's a lot.
You know, sort of end of 2020 and the middle of 2024. It's fucking like a scroll worth of roster transfers for nothing, it feels like.
Yeah, and they've literally, I think they've been to 2 majors and that's it. I don't even think they've won a single tournament. Anyway, we can move on from them. Like, I don't want to touch on it for too longer.
Get shot on kind of thing, yeah. Anything else, Josh?
No, not really. Yeah, that's all I've got on this one.
Fair. Next one we wanted to talk about was Elisa Invitational Fall. Now, this is an ongoing event, right? We've just seen the invited teams. We had a chat with the Johnny Speeds guys last episode, where they got an invite. Overall, I guess we can start all the way from contenders, right? For you guys, you know, FreeZe, Nexus, Lil Mix, Sampi, 3 teams I feel like, you know, everyone would agree that you should be beating. And then the main Swiss system, right? I think we've always complimented Elisa on how good their invites have been, Josh, in the past. You know, like actually handpicking some really decent teams to invite. Maybe do we want to go through like all of the games one by one, Josh?
Yeah, well, I mean, I did see some tweet yesterday about one of the Meteor players getting banned. So
I did see
who
that
could have
as well.
seen that coming? Yeah, I mean, for the main Swiss as a whole, like I casted, I think back-to-back round 1 and round 2 of main Swiss. So I got to see quite a bit. I actually think this Dash team is pretty good. I know they just lost, I think, Hani over to Gangino's team, so that might hit them a little bit. But they're actually quite decent. Other than that, I don't think there was too many surprises. Rebels actually going completely 3-0 is a bit of a surprise to me. And then we got to see Metasport with Lumi. Like, I think he'd only played a handful of officials before moving into this main Swiss. So, yeah, it was like an okay one. It's a shame that Gaming Gladiators forfeited their game because of scheduling. Oh, so get this. I actually remember this one, Ryan. So they had a CCT game at 9 a.m. British time, okay? And it was an 0-1 matchup. So if they lose, whatever, like they're down 0-2, it might have even been a 1-0 match, if now I'm remembering. And then they were like, do you know what? We'll play that. And then they couldn't make the cut because they had to beat that best of 3 in less than 2 hours to make the 11 a.m. start at Alyssa. And I was like, and the Alyssa game was a fucking 2-2 in main Swiss. And it's like, surely you would just forfeit the CCT game at 9 a.m. and play the 11, because then I cast them for the fucking 3rd best of 3 for Thunder Pick. And I'm like, what? Like, I can't believe they've just forfeited a 2-2 game when they had a 1-0 game in CCT.
I think
we were also talking about that. Felt kind of weird to do that.
Yeah, I think the same thing happened to me literally like last week, Josh. Like genuinely, I was casting a CCT game. I forget which one it was, and it was like, I think it was like ECL or something as well. This was like an evening game, right? And I think they had ECL in line of sight, and it was like CCT fucking 2-2 game or ECL game, and it's like, how the fuck are you picking CCT over an ECL game kind of thing? I don't know. Like, I mean, I will say, I wish I wish this kind of stuff didn't happen because.
Oh, we say it every time, don't
yeah,
we? I know.
like,
yeah.
I wish it didn't happen because it'd always be nice to see every team play every game and whatever. But I mean, to forfeit a 2-2 game to play a 1-0 game, I feel like
It's crazy.
you know, like I feel like you give that to like a preschool child, and you're like, do you play one game or the other? And you know, I feel like everyone would fucking pick the 2-2 game in
yeah.
like.
I don't know.
And bearing in mind as well, right? What other event was it? Did you say CCT?
So they had CCT first, then Alyssa, then Thunder
Right.
Pick. So it was meant to be 3 best of 3s in the day if they played all of them.
I don't know. I think imagine as well, right? You like CCT, you forfeit one series out of fucking like 20 of them, right? And you know, maybe you get enough points for a LAN, or literally you go through the main Swiss. You have like what 4 games ahead of you, right? Like round of 16, quarters, semis, finals. 4 BO3s away from making a fucking like 300 grand LAN, and you're like, yeah, fuck it, we'll just play CCT, whatever,
Yeah, I
man,
don't know.
whatever. Like that is some dumb shit. I'm not gonna lie, but yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Well,
my my rant over.
We had your game versus TSM, was it yesterday afternoon? And I suppose that's a team that's like on the rise. Like we've seen them do really well since going full Danish. They qualified to the RMR. How did this game go for you guys, like in terms of preparation and expectations, maybe?
Well, we played them in the group stage before, and yeah, as you can see, we won Vertigo, and then we got smacked twice. And yeah, we were pretty happy to get our rematch in the playoffs, even though didn't go as planned. But like we didn't prepare that much because we took a couple of days off because we played so many maps in the last few weeks. So we decided to like take a few days off and take a step away from CS. So there wasn't that much preparation going on. So it was like kind of the first game back. But like we still felt good, and yeah, and we ended up losing 2-0. But I feel like the score doesn't really show what was going on yesterday, because I feel like we did a good job, and yeah, the pistol thing happened again. I think we didn't win a single one, but I'm not 100% sure. So yeah, would have helped as well to win one, but yeah, overall we weren't that frustrated about it. Kind of unfortunate to go out in the playoffs, obviously, but it wasn't that bad of a match. Even though Inferno is like the score is pretty one-sided, but as I said, we lost both pistols there, and yeah, it's always rough to recover from that.
Yeah, well, we can touch on the round of 12, because when we had the last show, Ryan, the round of 12 hadn't been done. We had Johnny Speeds on, and they didn't know who they were going to play. Now, what a fucking embarrassment for ITB. You have a look at that game, Ryan. They had Sparrow standing in, so the coach for the in-game leader, and they just got owned, like absolutely destroyed. And it's like, how does that happen? How do you not even hold weight against a team with a coach standing in for the IGL?
I'm trying to be nice here with Into the Breach.
Go on then.
Because I think everyone knows that it's going to take time. Like, a lot of the backgrounds for ITB is, like, Smooya fucking FPL Merchant. Like, Red Star's, like, more or less the same. But in terms of a team environment, like, Red Star played in the Bulgarian scene a lot. One Flatro and Synopsy have only ever been, you know, in, like, Kosovo teams. And then, obviously, you've got Chaos, who is slightly different, and he's been playing in, you know, European teams for a while. But you are right. Like, now that I've done the pleasantries, that is fucking shocking, by the way. Like, actually terrible of ITB to lose this game. And as you say, Josh, it's not even like the game was close, right? Like, if you lose 2-1, it's heartbreaking.
Bro, look at the
like,
half on Vertigo.
Yeah, like... I mean, fucking fair enough. I mean, that is a mega comeback. But, like, okay, like, take it into consideration, right? Like, map 1, you lose 13-7. Map 2, you go 10... In both maps, actually, you go 10-2 down. And in the third map, you lose 8-4 in the first half, don't win the pistol, and lose 5-0 in the second, and lose 13-4. It's like, wow, man, fuck me. Like... I guess the question is always, how much time do you give? You know, like, when do you start asking questions about roster movements and stuff? You know, if I'm Mr. ITB, if I'm Sam here, you gotta start scratching your head and wondering, you know, when the fuck are we gonna start pulling the shoe out of our ass and actually start like shooting back here? Because the individuals that you expect to show up, come on, man, like, I don't know, minus 22 against a coach is fucking horrendous, by the way. Just throwing it out there. And Sparrow went minus 21, and somehow you ended up doing worse in both rating and in KD. Whatever, man.
Yeah. I don't know. I
feel like-
mean, yeah, go on.
I feel like Xenopsy and Juan Flato are pretty, like, they played a very unique style with BNE. So I think it's kind of rough to get used to something different. Or maybe they're trying to find like a middle ground, but their playstyle was so unique. Like, even if we played them and watched their demos, we had no idea what was going on there. So I think it's kind of hard to get on the same page in that international roster. So I think if they want to make it work, it's gonna take some time for sure. But I think also on the other end, it's gonna be very hard to make it work.
Yeah, well, we had Johnny Speeds on the last interview, Ryan, and I didn't realize this until the show ended, but HLTV actually lists Hampus as the 5th player. We were trying to get them to hint at who the new in-game leader could be, but imagine if that actually happens. Imagine if Hampus gets dropped from Bleed and goes over to Johnny Speeds.
Yeah. I don't know. Did Bleed play in this tournament, by the way? I don't think so, did they? No.
No.
Okay,
didn't.
so my guess would be, I mean, clearly either
Could just be
Cassard...
standing in. Could
Yeah,
be.
I was going to say, either Cassard is a really nice guy and he's like, you can go and play with your friends for an event, or that is actually a move that's going to happen and, you know, it's just been sort of like
Well, there's
oozed out to the world.
There's been quite a bit of partnership in the past between Draken and Hampus. They played together on, I think, Gamer Legion and Red Reserve for quite some time, like quite a few years, actually. So, yeah, we'll see.
I think I read some things on Twitter that changes.
Yeah,
Like, almost
saw that.
confirmed. So yeah, would make sense to see him there actually. And Nexa back to the IGRO maybe in Bleed. Don't think they're gonna sign another IGL.
You'd think.
You'd hope.
Yeah, imagine. Yeah, get Vladimir back in the anchor roles, get Nexa picking up the call, and then just go from there.
Yeah.
So who do you think's going to win, like, qualified to Esper? I'd say, in my money, it's 3D Max is probably the best looking team here.
Yeah, I think it's either Zashi or 3D Max. They're both.
Yeah, true. Sashi do quite good in the qualifiers. Don't they? Qualified to what? Yellowland, EWC,
Yeah.
RMR.
They're always well prepared, and it's annoying to play them. And
What a
I
game.
feel like
Man.
3D Max is doing a pretty good job, but they're not that consistent. So I think both of those teams gonna end up in the final, and yeah, it's gonna be a close match.
Quickly, Josh, I was going to say, this is going to be a fucking barn burner of a game, by the way.
Yeah, it will be.
This is going to be a sick game. With how well TSM have been playing as of recent, and as you said, like, Sashi went on that, like, Invincibles run in the Yellow Compass last year. Like, that's going to be a banging game. I think for 3D Max against Zero Tenacity, that'll be a good litmus test as well, in my opinion.
That's a tough match, honestly.
Like,
Yeah,
as
I
much as
was about to say.
as much as, you know, HOTV would say our 3D Max are the better team, these Zero Tenacity guys, I mean, we talked about it even with them, and, you know, like, you know, I feel like every guest at this point has said, you know, how much of these guys are just fucking grinders in Tier 2. I don't think 3D Max, even if they do win, they will not be let off the hook easily. Like, these Zero Tenacity guys do shoot back quite well. So that'll be a fun one as well. And, you know, not to disrespect the other two, I feel like for me at least, this is going to be an interesting game, like the Johnny Speeds one. If this move is genuine, that Hampus is going to Johnny Speeds, which obviously is looking very likely. I mean, you can't really say, oh, a BO3 against Rebels is going to tell us exactly how well Johnny Speeds are going to be playing. But if this is a permanent addition, and, you know, this is the start of something, like, I don't know, I'm quite interested in this Johnny Speeds team, and the change that they've made is obviously a plus.
Yeah, if they can get Hampus, that's a massive pickup for them.
Yeah,
so,
100%.
So, yeah.
Next event, Josh.
Yeah, go for it.
CCT Season 2 European Series 9. We're slowly getting through them. Only fucking 12 more to go from this point, but or 11 more to go. Sorry, from this point. You guys played in this one, as you can see. Participants, you're invited into the main Swiss, if I'm not mistaken, or into like the group stage they call it. And obviously another event that you guys can secure some good HLTV points and whatnot. Monty Gen opening game 1-2 loss. Do we want to talk about this, or do we want to move on?
I think we can
That's
move
up
on.
to you guys,
on.
really.
I think we can move on.
Okay. Moving on. Yeah. I mean, apart from taking the loss to Monty Gem, who, by the way, went 3-1 here, Josh, which is quite impressive for, again, like an academy team. Obviously, for us, we know our local lad, Mr. Gizme, but for, you know, I guess in a more open-minded international space, this Monty Gem team is guys made up of fucking nobodies, basically, right? Like, again,
Yeah.
this is just people that have been in and about tier 3 or, like, you know, FPLC for a few of these guys when it existed and whatnot, and I mean,
I don't know how they went so deep. I mean, we'll talk about it when we get to the playoffs, but I'm really surprised these guys have gone as deep as they did in this tournament.
And then obviously you guys played DMS. I think, Josh, you were saying something about this DMS team, right? Like a few episodes ago.
Yeah, DMS, man. Really like them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that what you want to say?
Yeah, I don't really have much,
Okay,
much
cool.
to say about DMS. Yeah, leave it there.
Your third game against Young Ninjas, you had to forfeit, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, we were in Cologne watching the playoffs, so he couldn't play that one.
Yeah. Okay. Well, fantastic organising, I guess. Round 4. I guess it's a bit of a grind, right? Like backs against the wall, bit of pressure in the main Swiss. You got to move through.
Quite close, actually.
2-1 against an Insolo. You lose in the first map, which is Insolo's pick, and then 13-11, 16-13.
Yeah, that game was kind of crazy. It was also very exhausting. Like, I still remember that one. We made a huge comeback on Anubis, I think. Or I don't remember actually where we did a comeback. On one of the maps. We were pretty far behind. And yeah, it was exhausting game. And we were pretty happy that we managed to win that in the end. It also took ages, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it took fucking long, man.
And then what's the last game, right? You guys play against Aurora Youngblood.
Hang on, what?
Yeah, I did find this funny. That
there's quite a lot of stand-ins here.
Yeah, there's not many times. Oh fucking hell! You got a default in the first map. I think was I casting this game? Were they playing like a different event at the time?
No, they had some
No, it
struggles
was
with
like-
the
Oh,
other
okay,
cheat.
never mind then. Okay.
Yeah, they couldn't, like, one of the guys couldn't start the Akkus anti-cheat. Then he had to relocate to, like, I think he went to the internet cafe. And yeah, the admin said he had like 50 minutes to relocate. He obviously couldn't make it, so they had to forfeit the first map, and yeah, they played the second map with Willow Stanton. I think he's our academy player. Yeah, because FreeZe was I don't know, where were you?
I was
But-
at Gamescom
At
with
Gamescom, yeah,
Alternate.
Gamescom,
It was
yeah.
planned for quite some time, so yeah, it was unfortunate that we had to play CCT there, but Widow stepped in and they got the job done. Bit luck involved, I'd say, but yeah, we take
Yeah.
it.
I want to ask, right, because this is actually occurring a lot more now than what it was last year and the years prior, of like teams forfeiting even first maps because of scheduling or whatever. Do you think that let's just say you're playing Aurora Youngblood, like something goes wrong, you can't connect to the server. Should you just be defaulted on your map pick, or should it just be whatever is map 1? Because I feel like it's so unfair that like you can lose a default of your pick and then instantly you're going in your opposition map pick in a best of 3.
Yeah, like in that specific case, they already started the match, so would be kind of weird to to replay it. And
I guess, yeah.
But like if it happens before the match even starts, I can see where you're coming from. Would make sense to like forfeit your map pick. Like if like in the past when we got to that point that we maybe had to forfeit the first map because of a scheduling conflict, we always try to play like their map first, let them start the veto if they had a chance. And yeah, but overall it would make some sense to forfeit your map pick in case of a conflict with another event. Yeah.
I think it's just a shame because I know in this case like you guys came out on top of it, but if it was the other way around, you know what I mean? Like you had some issues and you had to forfeit your map pick and then instantly go in the others, especially when it's like a 2-2 game. But anyway, I mean, whatever. We could just go into the playoffs.
Well, I was going to say my hot take on this, Josh. Right?
Go for it, mate.
I think the game's gone soft. actually.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, like I remember back in the day, and I think everyone can appreciate this, when it was called ESEA, like, you know, like Mountain Dew League and whatever. It didn't matter top to bottom what division you were in, when this was like one of the most competitive events in Tier 2. You know, like in terms of having like season to season stuff. If you were 15 minutes late to a BO3, you forfeited the whole thing, you know? Like you were gone. And now you can, you know, like I guess for you guys, you know, when the game starts and whatever, and they had technical issues, it is kind of different. But I remember when I was casting a game, right, and it was like, okay, the rule with CCT, I guess for people at home maybe that are missing the context, is like, oh, you know, if you miss the first map, or like if you're going to miss the first map, you get 20 minutes to connect, and after 20 minutes, you then forfeit the first map, and then you have to wait another 20 minutes before the second map's forfeited. And this team turned up at like 1:45, so like 45 minutes into the hour, right? And they still fucking played the game anyway. Like the second map, and I'm like, man, what's the point of the rules? I couldn't believe it, honestly. I really couldn't.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I know it's different for your case, but that's like, I guess my lukewarm take on it all is that fucking sack
Fair
that off
enough.
completely and just, you know, especially if it's like a scheduling conflict, it's like if you can't resolve it with the TOs, if the TOs being a pain in the arse, then, you know, fair enough. But if it's your fault, then fuck off, right? You wanted
Well,
to talk
I
about?
think
Go on, sorry,
most of
FreeZe.
them are pretty nice when it comes to like your scheduling stuff. They're
Yeah.
always asked to provide your other tournament match dates and stuff. So we got along with them pretty well and didn't have too many conflicts within the year. So I feel like if you have someone who manages it pretty well, you don't get into much of those situations actually.
Yeah. You get any TOs that give you trouble with scheduling?
I'm not the one to do it, but yeah, as I said, we didn't have any problems
Yeah,
this year.
fair enough.
So yeah, I think Xen is doing a pretty good job when it comes to this.
Big up the coach.
Playoff stage, Josh. I think maybe we can talk about alternate aTTaX's run first, right? Because
Yeah.
for you guys, this must have been a pretty satisfying event, because I feel like you got your fair share of difficult teams and very good results. We were obviously talking about Monty Gem, which you play in the semi-finals. This one must have felt fucking fantastic to get a win in, right? Because as you were saying, you know, between everyone in the German scene, it feels like there's only two teams right now that at an international level. It's you and Big. And, you know, I don't think it's any offense to say that Big, you know, in terms of branding and name and players, maybe, you know, should have the upper edge, and you come in, you beat them 2-1, you send them packing in the round of, what, 16, if I'm not mistaken? Yeah, so,
Yep.
like, do you wanna maybe talk about this matchup a bit?
I actually don't remember the game, but yeah, obviously, I mean, played really good. To beat like some of your old teammates, and yeah, we were just happy to like, yeah, to just beat them and show that we like the work we put in, like finally showed a bit. Then obviously the run after what happened, I mean, it was amazing. So yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, like after the match, you could feel how much it meant for Hyped and Arrow because of their old organization. Like never seen those boys as happy as they were after that match. So it was kind of fun to see.
I guess a question to you both is, like, what do you think of this change with bringing in Rig on, right? Because I think, Josh, for us, like, this was... I don't want to say a well-needed move for Big, because maybe adding to firepower is something that obviously they were looking to do in this transfer, but for us, it was kind of like how we shared our thoughts about ITB, and it's like, you know, you've got, like, One Flatro and Synopsy that have only played in, like, the Albanian Kosovo scene, you know, it's, like, very puggy, very in your face, just plus W plus mouse 1 and just shoot people, right? And then you go into Big, which arguably, Josh, in terms of like a non-CIS European sort of grouping, Big are probably one of the most like calculative and like thought out teams that there are.
Of course.
So like, what do you think of this change in bringing on, you know, like literally the plus W merchant in Bad News Eagles and joining the most like calculative, cool, calm, collected team in, you know, Europe in Big?
Like overall, I think it's a really good move because I think they want to get rid of like a bit of their structure, you know, like give the players maybe a bit more freedom. I think that's what they did with JDC already, and to bring on Regon makes a lot of sense then. And if you compare their game now with how they did approach a game like a year ago, I think a lot changed actually. They're playing a bit more loose, and the players have a bit more freedom. That's at least how it feels from the outside. I might be wrong. Who knows? But overall, I think it's a good move, and they've shown some good results. They won against VP at Blast, I think, and had a lot of close games. They're also struggling a lot on the other hand, but I think it's also kind of normal for a newer team. So yeah, actually, I enjoy watching their games quite a lot recently, and yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't take any of that, Ryan. I think big are just shit. I think, well, the first thing, right, is I get from an organization point of view, you need to keep it core German. And I've said for the longest time now, I think they need to keep JDC, Crimbo, and Tabson and get a European AWPer and a European Rifler and keep it German core like they did with NRG back in the day. And just bring more talent. It's tough. Like FreeZe, I want to know from your perspective, right? Like with how the scene's going to be changing next year, do you actually like? I know you're going to have a lot of faith in your own boys and your own project, but do you think when Big stop getting these tier 1 opportunities, that you will just be the #1 team in Germany?
Or that's hard to say. We didn't play them that much, so yeah, I don't know to be honest. Also,
Because
it's
I think
hard to
that's the
yeah,
Sorry,
it would be the goal for sure, but it's kind of
yeah.
hard to compare us with them because they're playing all of those tier 1 events because they have the partner slot at Pro League and at Blast, you know, and like I don't know if they would get into those tournaments if it weren't for the partner slots, but yeah, it's hard to compare like the enemies they're playing with the enemies we're facing most of the time, and it's been only like one match that has been pretty close between us two. So yeah, it's hard to say who's the better team. On paper, it should be Big, but yeah, maybe we'll get some more matchups in the future. Like
Yeah.
we'll get some because they're also started to play in the German league, so we'll face them there pretty soon, I think. And yeah, probably gonna be some more matchups in the future between us two, and looking forward to them. Maybe we'll find out in the future who's the #1 in Germany. But right now, it's kind of hard to say.
Yeah. I'm sure that's all what the local fans are hoping to see. And I suppose if you just like parallel the Thunderpick event and this one here, like you've beaten Nemega and OG and Thunderpick, you've beaten Big, and then you've got on to like win this entire tournament. Like you put these two events together and you're actually beating some very good teams. Like you're beating some adequate teams at the top end of tier 2. I mean, Mouse and XT, I think they're in a tough position at the moment because well, they've lost their in-game leader. Naitu's left the team. I think they're going to be in a bit of a like rebuilding phase as of such. So they keep playing with Tobiz as a stand-in. So I don't know, I would even probably put you guys as favorites in this game to say, yeah, just with the situation that they're in, that you should be able to beat them pretty easily.
Yeah, but if you look at the past matches against them, it was always a pain to play against them. We always ended up losing because they are pretty good individually, and they have an annoying map pool, so it was always kind of rough to play them. And even though they played with Tobiz, I feel like they still could like rely on a lot of their individual, and yeah, it's always rough, especially on Vertigo to play against them because I don't know what makes them so special. I couldn't figure it out yet, but they're just so good in it. I don't know why. Yeah, so it's always rough to play them, even though it's with the coach. As I said, it was still kind of rough.
Monty Gen next, Josh. Do you wanna
the
do
rematch?
you wanna maybe talk about Monty Gen a bit first, or you wanna just talk about the matchup?
Yeah, they did all right until they got to the semis.
Yeah, I was gonna say like the run that they went on this event is actually really impressive, right? Like beat you guys, lose to Permitter, Insolo, and then fucking dogs. But you know, heading into the playoffs, like they play against Paravision, which
Actually,
you know,
smashed them. It's a good result.
All due respect, you know, as much as maybe we've shit on Paravision a bit in the past, like you look at the names of both of these teams, right? And it's like you've got Major Winner Kicker, you've got like literally some of the best. Like there have been moments in time where these names have been mentioned, maybe less at Alpha and Beltrup, but at least Patsy, Kicker, and Artfrost. And like, you know, these guys fucking hit hard in tier 2. You've got a fucking major winner in your team, right? And you've got Monty Gen, who by the way, average age 20.2. You've got literally, I think in this team, one RMR appearance in Gizme, right? And you lose 13-3, 13-6. Fucking wow, by the way.
But,
That
but
is...
wasn't that the game? Wasn't that the game like after it came out, the Paravision is disqualified from the RMR?
You reckon
Yeah,
that was
I
the
think it
timing
was
of it?
right
Could have
after.
been.
I think that was there. That like the news came out and then they had to play this one right after. Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
so
so
you
it was
reckon
just
they were
full
just
tilt.
tilted? Yeah.
I think they just didn't talk at all and just said, "Fuck this game, let's just play." And
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, go fast so we can talk to the admin
Yeah,
about... Yeah,
yeah.
okay, maybe then. Maybe. But I think, then obviously play TSM. And, if we want to discredit the Paravision win a bit with what happened at the RMR, this is one hell of a
100%.
result, Josh. This is
Yeah, no, it is.
fucking incredible, by the way. And, I can't even say, it's like it's, a carry fest by one person. It's not like one person redeemed the life game. It did genuinely feel like, I mean, Gizme maybe -7, Lean -4, but it's not exactly like you've got someone that's like anchoring this team to a win. It was clearly in the score sheets, 2 maps, 13-9, 13-11, close maps, but a 2-0 score. Play against you guys, and fucking probably took you longer to warm up than it did play the BO3, because it was a damn quick result.
Yeah.
It was a
Yeah.
really fast game. And
Yeah, I don't know
actually,
what
it was
happened.
the first time I won like 13-0, or even like 16-0 never happened before on HLT at least. Was yeah, felt good to play that game and to get our revenge from the group stage.
Yeah, the only thing I remember about that best of 3 was just like perks and just, I don't know, it's just farming. Just every single time he's in a retake, it's just he keeps getting multi-frags, they can't shut him out. And then,
it
yeah,
was
like,
them.
yeah, you go
Yeah,
into
look
the
at his
final
stats
against...
in that series. Check his stats.
Yeah, let's
in
have a
that
look.
series.
Bring the stats up, Ryan.
All right.
Well, that was probably the most insane scoreline I've ever seen for a BO3.
Holy shit!
And that's an anchor player too. That is actually pretty
Aussie
crazy.
won it.
That's got to be like, maybe not the highest, but like one of the highest ratings of like a BO3
Yeah.
game, like recorded, at least
that
in
was
CS2.
insane.
That is, like, do you know how hard it is to get a 2.0 rating in general? Like, that is, yeah, that is mental. Fair enough. I guess, like, for you guys, as you can see here, like, August 28th at 12 for us, and then August 28th at 6, the matches are played on the same day. You get a bit of a break in the middle because you're on the earlier one. Like, this must be a big confidence booster, right? And Josh, you were going to sort of segue this into the grand final. To play against Bait, again, like, another team that maybe isn't, touted as, like, fucking the GOATs of Tier 2 or whatever. But again, like, it's an incredibly solid team, decent results, like, we've seen this team and these individuals do really well. Like, that must have been, at least the Monty Gen game, must have been a really nice win to head into this final with, a fucking bucket load of confidence and come through and beat these guys.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we were kind of worried that we like lose our flow because we had like a 4-hour break, I think. But yeah, because I mean, we had like a 13-0 and a 13-4 or 5. I don't remember. It was huge confidence boost. So yeah, just tried our best. We rushed, it didn't work that well, but the rest was pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good result. I mean, Bait are a pretty consistent team at Tier 2. Like,
Yeah.
they actually can be a title contender in the majority of their runs that they're in. And FreeZe, I'd say this probably feels like the first time in a while that, like, you're actually starting to get back to where you were last year, right? Like, I know it's obviously only a couple of events, but still beating these teams, winning a title, does it feel like you're back, or is it just, it's a one-off? Let's see if we can keep doing it.
The funny thing, actually, we played CCT final for the first time more or less like exactly 1 year ago with Lex and Speedy, and was kind of funny to get in the final again. And just talked about before we went into the final. I talked about it that I don't want to end up losing another CCT final. So yeah, it was a good run, and we got our confidence back with that win. I think we showed it in the Thunder Pick as well after. In those games, and yeah, overall, like, the chemistry feels pretty good, and I feel like we improved in a lot of things. We have still a long list on things we need to improve on, but I think we got way better. The confidence is there on all of the guys, right now, and that hasn't been the case for quite some time before. And you could see it in the stats and on like how we went into duels and how we played overall. Like now everyone goes for plays, everyone is communicating, and you know, we'll see. Like I don't know if we are necessarily back to where we were last year, but I think we're on a good way to get there, or like even higher. Who knows? Still got a lot of tournaments coming up this year, and yeah, I'm pretty sure it will. If we keep on grinding, if we keep the vibes up, that we'll be doing pretty good.
Good
Yeah.
to hear.
Josh, I'm going to switch the last two events around because I think there's a few changes that are sort of
Sure, go for it,
DAC
man.
based. So we're going to go for IESF next. And
Oh yeah.
for those that don't know, like I fucking love the idea of this, like having a World Cup type thing. I will say, do feel like it's a bit cheaty when you know, like this happens when there's a certain team that are actually a team that, you know. I mean, look, fair enough. Like if you're allowed to play your cards right, yeah. But I think there's like other examples, right, where it's like you get like a mix of teams, like you know, like your
I
Norways
don't know how
and
many
whatnot.
actual teams there
Do you
are.
want me
Like
to-
you've got
Here you go.
Kodo,
So you've
Nexus
got
and
Next year's
Kodo.
and stuff.
yeah, Nexus,
Rebels.
Poland, yeah, Serbia. I guess is like 4 Partisan, and Troy used to play on Partisan, so I guess that's like
Yeah,
reunion there.
mix-ish, but yeah.
Team Canada, home.
Who
Okay.
even are those
Yeah,
guys?
I guess crew for sort of the South American region. This surprises me. The Huns
Huns,
Esports playing in this rather than Mongo. I don't know, whatever. I guess another one, Team Lebanon. Okay, fair. Tunisia, South Africa. I mean, look, at the end of the day, if everyone's doing it, I don't blame you. But it would be cool to see, like, you know, imagine like a mix between like you and the big guys, you know, and whatever. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, it's a bit rough because of the schedule, because it's during or close to the RMR, so would have been rough to get a
Yeah.
mix. And
I
think,
see,
like even
okay.
some teams that are there, like Rebels and the Stumpy guys for Slovakia, like they can't even attend the event, I think. So yeah, it would have been rough to get a German mix going there. So and like it's in the past, they always, like the German Federation always sent the team who won the Meisterschaft there, you know, if they were like full German, or at least the core if they weren't full German. Hyped has been there like 2 times already, I think.
Fair.
Ebor's
yeah.
coming out of retirement as well, playing with Team Turkey. I don't know how
Really?
he managed to like
Oh
get
my
himself on that
God.
team.
Yeah.
Managed to literally streaming, but yeah.
And I guess Josh, for us, fuck the UK for not allowing us to get into
we never
this
get
event.
one.
It's because
Yep.
of our government, by the way. That is
Oh,
that
is
the
it? I
genuine.
actually don't know why.
Well, it's like the like esports fucking
That's right.
committee. Like
Yeah, Wales can play in it. But
yeah,
England
it's
can't.
it's because this like British Esports Association just like fucking just hold each
I
other's
think they're in the
dicks
other
and-
one, aren't they?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
they're in the fucking whatever the other IESF is, whatever the fuck like
Yeah,
the
and it's
naming
like-
is, like.
And they get to do like Valorant and League of Legends and all the other like hippie games rather than Counter-Strike. Anyway, my rant aside, I think these are always really fun, Josh, because we get to see, you know, like a lot of teams that clash. It would be really fun to have seen like more teams get invited, you know, like a more global stance, because as you can see, like you know, like there's nearly 3 rows of European teams. There's like 1 Asian team, 1 Oceanic team, you know, like Central Asian, West Asian, African is
Yeah, all
2 of them.
sorts. They
Like-
had that African land, was it like Casablanca? And
Really?
bro, it looked mad because that was like when Neokai and all those guys went out there, and I was seeing it on the social media. Mate, it looked like it was a fucking piss up party. I was like, get me out to Casablanca, mate. This is where we gotta be.
Fair enough. It's always cool as well that they
How long ago? How long until the tournament starts? Because this could be the international land win right here.
11th
100
to the
grand.
11th.
You know, get alternate attacks in. I think you have to represent Team Germany anyway. I don't think. Can you even go as attack? I don't know how it works.
Now we're playing
Yeah,
as
we-
Team Germany,
Yeah,
but
we
Yeah.
have to go.
yeah, we're gonna be listed on HLTV as alternate, if I'm not
Right.
mistaken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
we'll
God.
get the
Sweet
we'll get
HLTV
the-
points, yeah.
yeah, I think we'll get the points.
I wonder how it works in terms of Valve ranking, Josh.
Can't tell you, mate. It's just fucking.
Because-
Boy,
That's
we'll
whatever.
find out.
question.
Yeah.
Before
Team Germany overtakes alternate aTTaX the Valbrek. Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
And speaking of Team Germany, Josh, I think the event that we wanted to talk about last was this German events. I will say first things first, by the way. This, how cool is that to see Speedy as a commentator or at least as broadcast talent. I guess for you guys, right? Again, this is like an event that's only just got underway. You mentioned obviously bigger playing in this as well. As like a European, or rather as a regional thing rather than anything else, as we were saying, like as a European collective, we had all the ESL regional leagues. This is like your replacement of it now, right?
Yeah, it's kind of the replacement for it. Like there are two German leagues at the moment, but like I think that's the one that's more organized and has like more people behind it who like who you know, like for example Speedy, you know, and like Dennis is also involved and a bunch of other guys who like are known in esports in general or and especially in Germany. So yeah, that's the league we are playing in Germany.
It's cool. I mean, I suppose I've got to know. Like last season, was it LAN as well? Like LAN finals, or is it only this season that they're doing it?
It
Last
was
year,
left finals as
yeah.
well, yeah, yeah. Played against CC State Punks on LAN,
Hmm.
but yeah.
What was the LAN facility like last time around? Was it like good PCs and everything?
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was alright. Yeah.
yeah. It
Like
was
the
in
monitors were a bit fucked, but they were like huge, huge monitors. But the PCs were fine. Like the whole location, the organization was also good. So
Oh,
yeah,
good.
it was
was
fun.
alright.
The location was I don't know if you saw HLT confirmed in Cologne. Like it was in the Experion there. I don't know if you
Yes.
heard about it. And
Yeah.
that's where we also played the finals of the German League.
Hmm.
So it was kind of nice.
Yeah. So if it's not big and aTTaX in the grand final on LAN, something's gone seriously fucking wrong in this league. But yeah, I mean, look, maybe there's some upcoming talent, Ryan. If these continue, because I think that's what again the smaller scenes are looking after is like having a league-based platform. The UK's got it with UKIC. You have your Div 1, you play your like round robin, whatever, and then you get your little LAN final at the end. So yeah, only a positive thing for the local scene.
Roster changes next, Josh, that we wanted to talk about. The reason
Yeah.
why I left the German themed event till last is because I think there's a few of them, at least in the German scene, that we wanted to talk
Sure.
about. First and foremost, Tizian being released from Entropic, right, and is now a free agent. Just gone, I guess, from that side, and has to look elsewhere once more.
What do you guys think? Does he go back to another international project? I mean, he doesn't really have many German projects that he could join.
Yeah, I don't really know, to be honest. I don't know if he has like something on the table. Probably like a few teams here and there who will like try him out, but I don't know if it's like really fits his vision. So yeah, I don't know. I hope so because I really like him. He's a really nice guy. Talked with him like he also played like had a short stint in the academy team in Big back then. We like standed in for I don't really remember, but he was there for like 2 or 3 weeks. Yeah, it was fun. So I hope he finds a new team if he still wants to play. But yeah, I think it's gonna be rough.
We've seen it for quite a lot of people that get dropped by big. They're just struggling internationally. Like Keto's really struggled on OG. Tizian's struggled since then. I think the whole philosophy freeze maybe of German CS and trying to bring that into an international team, it just doesn't work. It doesn't mix.
Yeah, Tizian had a rough period in Entropic for sure. They didn't do that good. And for Keto, I think before he turned into an IGL, all of a sudden, I think he did pretty okayish in OG. He had a couple of good games, but as soon as they made him IGL, it went south from there. Like his stats were horrible in the last few months. I can't really blame him if he I think it's kind of rough to suddenly become an IGL, especially in an international team if you have never done it before. So yeah, probably was a rough period for him. But overall, I think he's still like pretty good player if he gets into the right team. Even with Big, I think he didn't do that bad before they released him.
Yeah. I don't know
Yeah.
what will happen with him. We spoke about this. Should we say super team, Ryan? How do we how do we want to go with the Scrunk project? We spoke about it on the last show. I wanted to get your perspective on it because you've got Sensei and Scrunk that's been involved in the local scene. What do you guys think about this project?
Yeah, I don't really know, to be honest. I think we played against it like a couple of times, like 2 or 3 times. Yeah, they play kind of weird, but I mean they're new team, so it's normal. But yeah, I don't really know. I didn't really thought that Skrunk's coming back as a player. I thought he would just continue like the coaching, analyst and stuff, or anything. I don't know, but I just didn't expect him to come actually back. So yeah, I think you have to see and wait how it will play out, because as I think it's still important, especially in tier 2, that you have like an IJ capable of fragging. And I don't really know if he still has this in him. But yeah, if he can prove us wrong, then good, and then I think they can really be a solid team.
Can't freeze. Give us a hot take about this team.
Like, if you look at all the players, they're not bad, but they didn't play in a team for ages. Like, it counts for every single one of them. So I think they are going to have a rough time, especially because they never played like real officials, I'd say, in CS2. None of them. So it's a whole new game. And yeah, I think they're gonna have a really tough time to get where they want to be, because I know for a fact they like want to get into the top 50, and probably want to go back to the next RMR as they used to do when Skunk was still on Sangar. So yeah, I think that that those are their goals, but I think it's gonna be really tough for them to get there or even close to that for now. But maybe in the
Yeah, for
future,
sure.
because like I think there's like Soulfly and Sensei and the other guys are like, and Banjo, they're pretty young still, so yeah, a lot of time for them to still improve. But for Skrunk, I don't know, like don't exactly know how old he is, but I don't feel like there's that much. He has that much time left in him. Like Hyped already like mentioned it once. He didn't think he was continuing as a player ever again. So because he was the analyst for Heroic for quite some time, I think. So yeah, it's overall a kind of weird mix, but they have good players in it. So yeah, I'm looking forward to see them play because I'm friends with some of them. So yeah, but it's gonna be rough for them in the beginning for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. I already said my piece a couple episodes ago about
Yeah.
this team, Josh. I don't know if you want me
Yeah.
to
No,
reiterate my
that's all right.
point. I
Yeah,
will
maybe
say,
we'll let the results do the talking. We'll
yeah.
get them.
Oh
We'll talk
yeah.
about them
I
in a few
will.
months' time.
I cannot wait for that moment. I guess another change that we wanted to talk about, Josh, right, is ENCE acquiring NKJ from Entropic as their
Yeah.
new coach. I guess this comes out of a little bit of surprise for me. Like,
Well, not surprised that ENCE needed a change.
no, well, obviously that, but like NKJ, obviously, for those that maybe don't know, is like a German coach, right? And I think in terms of teams, he was like on Big before, right? And Sprout, alternate attacks, like he's been very much in the German scene. You know, not to dunk on NKJ's time in Tropic, Josh, but
Yep.
for me, I guess of all the choices, and you know, considering the money that ENCE have, is like you're looking at all of the coaches, and I guess maybe you guys can shed a bit of light into NKJ, and you know, as a good coach or whatever. But for me, it felt like ENCE was fucking depleted, right? Like they had nothing left in them. And then like of all the choices, you go for an Entropic side that haven't really shown much at all in the last few months. Like I guess the question to you guys is like, is NKJ like a good coach? Is this a really good pickup from ENCE, or like did you not know about this? Like, how do you feel about the change?
I actually never talked to him or work with him, so I don't really know. Hype, did you have anything to do with
No,
him?
no, no, no.
Yeah. So it's hard to say, like you don't know anything about his personality or whatever.
Yeah.
But if you look back at his time in Entropic, I think they had a bad approach tactically, because there were a lot of strats that had so many tells, and you could just immediately like if you watched the demos, you always knew what they were up to, and it was kind of easy to play against them and be ready for their stuff. So I'm a bit worried because like if they couldn't make it work on like the level Entropic was on, because they were barely in the top 100, you know, and like I don't see it really working out on the tier 1 level for them then. So yeah, don't want to like be too negative about it, since I don't really know him, but that's just like from an outside point of view, it's kind of how I feel about it.
But the way that I look at this change, Ryan, is there's no way this is the only change that Ents are making.
No, you'd hope not.
They are going to make a player change for sure. These guys look insanely rough. I think the results. I mean, they've got Alyssa Masters Espo in what, a month's time, and I actually think for Ents that's their biggest tournament of the year. Like, you've got your local fans. Like, I know Ents isn't finished anymore, but you've still got Potty in the team. You've got Ents Academy. Like, everyone in Finland is rooting for you. And last time around, they made the stage and they got instantly. I think they've like. Was it the first time they lost instantly and couldn't win a map? I'm trying to remember what happened the time before that. I'm thinking I don't even know if they made the stage.
Didn't they lose to Havu last time? And didn't like I don't think they made playoffs, but I'm not 100% sure. I think they lost to Havu and someone else.
They've made the stage twice in back-to-back lands and they've never won a map. And it's like now 1 month's time with a team that's looking really shaky. Like, this is the kind of tournament you want to win if you're Ents. Like, this is where you want to show the local fans that they can actually have some success. And I reckon that if they get grouped again or they struggle in the playoffs, I think there's going to be drastic changes. I think more is definitely required for them.
Yeah, and I guess the question then is like, are you even going to play with this roster in Espo? Like, do you think like a month is enough to change that all around? I don't think so. Like, I don't think a month is good enough, like, to make all of those changes. I mean, obviously you were saying, FreeZe, earlier in the show that, you know, it takes a lot longer than, you know, a couple of weeks to recover from a change and things like that. And it's like, if you make the coach change now, like, maybe there is some things that NKJ can work on between now and then, but like, you know, is just a coach change enough? Absolutely not. You know, are you going to change a player a month before like your biggest event of the year in terms of like winning and having like a good chance and as you say, like being the home favorite? It's like, I don't know. I think again, it's either going to be a really poorly timed change for Ents, or they're just going to have to watch by and let this year or this year's event, I should say, for Espo slip away from them.
Yeah, I mean, Ents. Espo is kind of like alternate attacks or big at Cologne. Like, that's how it is. Like, you want that team to be able to produce results, be able to do well. See, I don't know. I mean, the next one that comes in is Marix, a guy that, again, has played in the local scene a little bit from Luxembourg. He also speaks Ukrainian. He's joined completely now with Favbet, which is basically Bondik's team. You played much of this Favbet team?
Yeah, we played them. Like, once we had to play with the stand-in, that we ended up losing pretty close, I think, and then we played them in Elisa, I think.
Yeah.
For playoffs at an R2-2 match, and we won pretty convincingly. But like, we both know Marix for quite some time. He has been in the German scene before, and he played on a couple of German teams, and yeah, he's always been like the guy who was supposed to be up next, you know, but I think he's also been struggling for quite some time. And yeah, he had a good run in OG Academy. I think he did pretty good there, but after that it was also like kind of weird and entropic for him. And maybe it's a good thing to have some. I think the Favbet guys are a bit younger.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, so maybe it's a good thing for him to join them and to like grind a bit more and like get away from the German structure he had everywhere, you know. Maybe he can get back to his OG performances. Who knows?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Two changes that I want to address, Josh. One, quite quickly, is that Seized is retired, right? Like, that's official now. Big shame, but I guess
he's back though, because he's playing in that fucking CCT
Close
qualifier.
Fucking Bogatiri. Fucking he retired to go and play with Buster, like streamer Buster, Almeza, Flamey, and Mo. as in like major winner. So yeah,
He's had a really good career, and
Yeah.
it was a shame with the whole Nine Pandas not being able to go to the major, and with him getting kicked for Shalfie and everything. But with what he's
Yeah.
achieved over the years, I think he can put his feet up and say, do you know what, it was a pretty decent career, all things considered.
Yeah, sure.
A change that I'm here to fucking pump my arms into the air and celebrate, Josh, is one win, just fucking removing all their shit from their roster, right? Like, they've benched 3 people, Buster,
And their best
Nealon,
player!
Ryujin. Yeah, so I was going to say, like, I'm celebrating because this change was so desperately needed, but you, obviously, as you say, Josh, just removing, like, by far their best player, right? And now just working with Hobbit and aTTaX, who, to be fair, like, aTTaX, very solid player. Again, he's like one of these guys that we've talked about religiously in Tier 2 being solid. Hobbit is a major winner, like, in terms of experience and, you know, like, I guess the sort of the mold that everyone in Tier 2 is right now is, like, you have some young talent, some, like, older players, and you kind of, like, use this as a way to, like, balance and mediate the team, right? Like, we have these young guys shooting and these old guys that are able to just outbrain everyone. So, at least as a duo, this is really interesting, but they've just fucked off 60% of their roster, right? And back to square one, I guess. Probably wanted a bit more and got nothing from it. So, see you later.
Yeah, I have no
Yeah, but,
thoughts.
Like, I read some tweets about who they're trying out. I forgot like the names, but it were some of their old academy players or like someone who played in one win before. Like, I think there was a reason why they got kicked or didn't get promoted before. I don't know if that's the right move to do, but yeah, it felt kinda odd reading it. But who knows if those tweets are even like real.
Yeah, when I saw this move, Ryan, I thought a move has been made, and then I just turned away, and then that was it. That's just all my thoughts about that entire move for one win.
Yeah, it's like, okay, anyway, kind of thing, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Last one is Nom dropping their CS roster.
Yeah, that had to be because they didn't make the RMR,
it
like
was-
losing
yeah.
out to Drillers.
I did see that a lot of the tweets are like, oh, because, you know, like, we didn't make the RMR, our contracts have been, like, terminated or whatever the fuck. Which is a bit of a shame. Like, I think for them, they definitely wanted to make that RMR, and up until when Drillers signed up, even if Drillers, you know, like, even with Drillers signing up, I think for them, they had a little more time to prepare, had, you know, whatever. Dutchy came in as well, obviously, like, Scotsman, local to us, came in to coach for a bit, and then it was just goodbye. Like, they get removed. And yeah, I think it was literally just result based upon their lack of RMR position.
Well, they made it last time, didn't they? Well, at least when they went to Mongolia for the Blast RMR, and it's like, if you've done it then, you've got to do it consistently now, and they've missed that chance. I'm sure quite a lot of them are going to find homes fairly soon, but yeah, no surprise that team just basically gets folded after.
Yeah.
What else, Ryan?
Well, a big one. NIP deciding to remove Alex and parting ways with Slap, which is their coach, and the tweet that came out, Josh, you linked it. I didn't even need to, like, you know, it's like one of those few moments where you send it in and, like, I just see the @ of the person that wrote the tweet and I know exactly what tweet it's going to be, right? And there was some drama that went with this, right? Because
There was.
I mean, here you can see, it says, you know, as you can see, Nip wants to keep Mistem and Spray as a duo. Surprised and disappointed. Unclear what the future holds. Other than this tweet being, like, super ominous, like, I don't want to sound like a knob here, Josh, but I'm going to do it anyway for the sake of content. And it's like, if you're a team as prestigious as NIP, you have the money, the salary, the opportunity, the facilities, and all of that, and the best you can do is basically fuck all with NIP, right? Like, okay, sure, maybe keeping people together and promoting, you know, coach and player duo because of, like, region or whatever the fuck the excuse is. Like, you can't be salty that, oh, because they want to keep as a duo, you're surprised and disappointed. You should be surprised at how shit your team is and how terribly you've been playing for the past few months. Like, that should be your surprise and disappointment, not the fact that you get removed. Like, okay, I get it, because, you know, you lost your job at the end of the day, but don't be coming on Twitter being all bitter and salty and whatever, when, you know, you had all the time, all the resources, literally the most prestigious and, like, inarguably, like, the most religious organization in Counter-Strike's history in Ninjas in Pajamas, and you're the one that gets to be all bitter and salty on Twitter. Fuck off, man. Like, seriously. I was so tilted when I saw this, Josh. I thought the cheek of it is incredible. Actually, incredible. Oh, man, my blood's boiling even talking about it now. Like, I'm so pissed off. I saw this tweet and, a vein pop, Josh. Like, I was fucking...
Yeah.
Oh, the anger.
What do you guys think of the move? FreeZe, I mean, good, bad, average?
Well, it's rough. Like at first, I didn't even understand why they made like. I have nothing against them, but I don't know why they picked Alex as an IGL.
Oh, we've
in
said
first
that
place.
many times, haven't we?
Oh, man,
And
yeah.
I think he was doing good with the Movie Star Boys or with Koi. I don't know
Yeah.
which name it
Yeah.
was, but they were doing pretty good. But to like I think it's always a rough step to get someone from their native language to call in another language for the first time and then expect them to do good from get-go. So it was kind of weird to pick him there, and also the other names around him didn't make too much sense in my opinion for like an organization as NIP. I would have expected like better players to be there. And now like it was kind of expected that they have to do a change because they didn't do good at all. So yeah, again, you would have expected someone with a bigger name to get into the lineup and not a guy from the academy team. I know that they've been doing pretty decent in the academy team, so maybe it's kind of fair to give him a shot. But as I said, I would have expected Nip to like get some more prominent people into that lineup.
Yeah, I don't know. Hypes, you got any thoughts on this one?
Nah, bro. Nah.
Yeah. I mean, Alex probably goes back to Koi, honestly. Like, they've looked proper
Yeah.
shit recently. I don't know what has happened. They were literally 2-0 in the RMR qualification, and then since then, they've just been losing to everyone. They won, what, one round versus Mongols in a best-of-3 the
Yeah.
other day?
That
Like,
was rough.
they look so bad. So I can only assume that Alex tries to go back to Koi and try
Yeah,
and, like,
probably,
rebuild with Mopos and, you know, take that team back to the top again. I mean, 9Z's doing quite well. Koi was doing well. I think Alex will find a home in the local scene pretty quickly, but yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
this move's happened. I don't really have much to say about it.
Yeah, that fraud isn't going to get picked up by NIP anytime soon. I think one other thing that we wanted to talk about, Josh, is another team from the Iberian region, right? And that is Rhino. You're
Yeah.
laughing already because, wow, fucking what a joke this is as well, by the way. So I guess it's hard for me to pull up. Maybe like...
Should I can give some context on it.
Yeah,
okay?
go for it,
You
go
can
for
maybe
it.
bring up the dates or whatever. But August the 19th, okay, the coach from Rhino just steps down. 2 days, so the RMR starts on the 21st. The 19th, he says, I'm done. I don't want to coach. They get to the RMR close qualies. They do pretty shit. They bomb out. And then just after the RMR, they tilt, whatever, they bring in 2 new players. So it's like, right, we're getting rid of TMKJ, we're getting rid of Diaz, we're bringing up NoPJ, who's, you know, a veteran guy in the local scene. This other kid, don't know, doesn't even have a Wikipedia page. Who is he? And then September 10th, so what's that, 2 weeks later? Bro, they just come back. Like, but not all of them. It's like TMK comes back. And then Rafax is here. Like, what the fuck? Well, bro, I don't know. Like, what is this, Ryan? This is literally like having the management be like, right, let's do the strat roulette and just like keep seeing what it says. I don't know what to say about this change. What a fucking disaster this is.
Yeah, I can only imagine, like, from an organizational perspective, fucking Simal George is sat at his desk right now, head in hands, right? Like, he doesn't know. He's like, fuck, man. Like, what just happened to my team? Like, it implodes just before the RMR. Imagine, you know, you do shit in the RMR, you're like, okay, fuck it, I'm having a week off. You come back, and it's like some of these faces that left you, like, not even, you know, a couple of weeks ago, are fucking sat in the prac room, like, just waiting to get on with their day. Like, man, that is, yeah, I don't know. It's actually insane. Like, that... I mean, obviously, like, the Amcal thing was a joke as well, with, like, how quick those change. Like, the 9 Pandas result situation. Like, oh,
Yeah.
that's the fastest roster
Yeah.
change in history. You know, outside of the memes and, like, the contractual problems, like, this genuinely has to be the quickest, like, oh, fuck moment, and just switching back to, like, old players, like, ever. Like, that's insane. It's like 20 days, not even that.
I don't know. How does this happen?
Hold on,
I don't know.
I have the thingy up here. Like, bro, like it's just, I don't know, man. Yeah, how interesting is that? Like, look, how many days in team? They played 17 maps, 15 days in team. This is like the fucking the maze situation on Sprout. Like
it is,
V2.
yeah.
Terrible, terrible. But on the bright side, you know,
Entertaining. I mean,
yeah, we can have a laugh. That's where we leave the roster changes.
Yeah.
My favorite part of the show, you know, if you guys haven't watched one before at home or whatever, this is the best bit. It's called Tier 2 Dream Team. We're gonna ask FreeZe and Hyped to go against one another. They get to pick any player from Tier 2, and it will go back and forth. So FreeZe will start and pick a player. Hyped will then pick a player. And your job is to make the best Tier 2 super team there is. You can pick yourself. You can pick another teammate, but maximum one teammate. And at the end, me and Josh will be having a look and seeing, you know, which is the best Tier 2 Dream Team.
That's gonna be interesting.
Okay.
And yeah, Tier 2 players only. If you want like a, you know, oh, is this player Tier 2 or do you consider him Tier 1? Me and Josh are, you know, the panel of like we're like a fucking married couple. We'll argue about it. What's Tier 1 and what's Tier 2.
Okay.
So FreeZe, do you want to start us off? Who are you picking to start your Tier 2 Dream Team?
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm gonna start with the AWP because that's the easiest choice. Gonna pick Hype there,
Okay.
especially in the current form. Probably.
So now he can't even have himself on his own team.
That is true, yeah.
It's unfortunate for him.
He's just blocked himself out of his own team. So yeah. Hyped, you
Yeah.
can have anyone but yourself.
Yeah, I take Dre.
Who was that?
Dre is not possible anymore now. Because he's banned. Dre.
Oh,
Joel.
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 Oh,
Dre.
yeah.
Oh,
well,
do you know
you
what?
can have
Yeah,
him.
you can have him any day of the week.
Yeah, I haven't. Give me Dre, yeah.
Listen, as long as the qualifiers on Face It, it's fair game. It is fair.
As long as there's no
fair
Across,
game.
yeah.
Who are you picking next, FreeZe?
Next one has to be Jota.
Yeah.
Saka.
He got picked in the last episode, didn't he?
Yeah, I was gonna say he's been picked a little bit recently, and understandably
He's
so.
also a really good anchor at the moment. He's
playing well.
He's playing really well.
I take the Mania.
Oh, this is already a juicy team to start.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, we can already quit this. No, we don't stand a chance.
Wasn't it back to what Robin said a handful of months ago, Ryan? If you win, you win, and if you lose, you win.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's
Yeah.
Ooh, no, it's gonna be tough. I wanna like Mattis from Fnatic.
Yeah, I'll allow it.
Yeah, me too,
Definitely ain't Tier 1, I'll tell you that much now,
No.
but very good player.
Yeah. I'll take Deco from Aurora.
Now, are you getting Deco rifling or Deco AWPing though? Because
Deco opping.
Deco AWPing.
Deco opping.
So I need an IGL still. I think I'm gonna take NPL from B8. He's also doing good, and I read an article about him IGLing. Didn't know that before. So yeah.
Fair enough. Next
Yeah,
for
it's
you,
my
Hyped.
IGL. I take FreeZe.
I see. I think this is the
Oh,
first
like
time
it.
this has
Yeah,
ever
Look at
happened.
that team. Look at you.
That's
You
so
can have to
easy
deal
with that
yeah.
lineup. Joel go kill, Nemanja go kill. Easy.
Yeah.
Easy threat.
I don't know my last man.
Yeah, that's a rough one. What do we need in that team? Good question. Maybe Kabi from Sashi.
Okay. I think it's actually a very good pick, Josh. I don't think Cabby's been picked all too much in
No,
these, but yeah.
I think
no,
a couple of
respect that.
times, but not frequently.
Yeah. Hyped?
Yeah. I have to think for a second.
No worries. I think this is the bit that people always like trip up on, Josh. Right? It's like the
The
last
last.
couple. It's like, do you want to just go like all guns blazing and just pick up like another star player and just fucking like you're just gonna plus W at everyone, or is it like do you actually want someone that's gonna be like an anchor or like a support and be there to like hold the team's hand?
Just a little fun fact for his thinking period. Check the M80 game and look at the score.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Who are they
okay.
playing?
For now. Oh!
Bloody hell!
It's
What the fuck?
31-31.
That is crazy.
Man, they started before we did here.
Holy shit! That
What
probably
the
is going to be
fuck,
the
bro?
longest CS2 game.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
remember
yeah,
Jackie
100%,
tweeting
yeah.
about it, and he was like, it was like 40 rounds, right? Like 40 something rounds. I mean, this is already like 60 odd, right? Fucking 62. I don't.
62 rounds
Wait,
played.
what is it? First two in this situation, like what? 30, 34. Like, man, I'd ask for a calculator at this point to work out how many rounds that you need to win. I mean, I guess it's 34,
Yeah,
right?
34 wins. Yeah.
Overtime number 7. Fuck.
Bro. I
Crazy.
think Patsy from Paravision.
Okay.
Language barrier is going to be intriguing. You got 2 IGLs, but I don't know. It is Joel and Amada on the team. Like
Yeah.
that's.
That's true. I'd say this team's actually pretty solid as well, Josh. Like,
Do you know
this is
what?
actually...
I think that team has like less chance of just imploding on day one after scrims. So yeah, let's back the Jodes team. I'm liking that one.
There you go. All right. Tier 2 dream team's done.
Fuck, man.
And that's the end of our episode
Yeah.
there. Thank you very much, gents, for joining us. Hyped and FreeZe, of course, from Alternate Attacks. A busy schedule up until the end of this year. We wish you guys nothing but the best.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us as always.
Thank
Until
you.
next time, have a good night, everyone. Bye-bye.
You too. See you.
Bye.